Hello, everyone. This is Gary Raze, Remax Integrity, and my good friend here, Tim, with going to be speaking to us about the mortgage situation currently. So we're here to do our November update. But remember, November is really about the middle of November when we get all the information from the government about what's happened in Lane County through October 31st. So I'm going to tell you about how things have changed just slightly. So to get started, I'm going to talk to the fact that pending sales are actually down 14% from last month. Now, when I say last month, I'm talking about September. So October versus September. So in the October timeframe, we went down about 14% in pendings, and in closed sales, we went down about 8%. Time on the market. We've increased a little bit of time on the market now. We're about 42 days, and what I mean by that is if it takes from the time that you first list a home till the time that it actually closes is about 42 days, which is still very good, but it's still longer than it used to be this last year. Inventory, we're up to about 2.5 months of inventory. What we mean by that is that it takes, if nothing else changes and no new listings come on, then it would take 2.5 months for all the listings that are out there to be sold. So that 2.5 months is longer than it used to be. But on the other hand, the perfect one time frame is 6 months, where the buyer and the seller are on equal terms. Right now, the sellers are still on has a little advantage because there's only 2.5 months of inventory. Uh, with all of this stating, this is the part that I really wanted to emphasize. We're going to go now a full year back from October to October 31st of this year. The median price, not the average price, the median price was 435,000 last year at this time. This year is 432. Uh, my point is, it's only dropped $3,000 as far as the median price. Now we are seeing price reductions here in November, so I expect this to change a little bit. But my point being, prices really haven't gone down. I'm going to bring this up a little bit about waiting until the rates go down, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, Tim, I'd like an up-to-date information on what is happening right now with interest rates.
Well, let's see. 5 minutes ago, the rates have actually improved quite a bit over the last few days. They dropped all the way down to from their highs of 8 1/8, 8 1/4. They've gone all the way down to about 7 1/4 today.
Wow.
So that's a significant rate drop.
Well, it is, because I'm going to talk about rate drops here shortly. So, what's your prediction for the future? I know we're going into Thanksgiving
Yeah.
here soon, and then Christmas, and I know that we have to kind of project out a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting there's going to be more volatility in the bond markets that drive the interest rates, and that's going to be due to there's we're selling off quite a bit of our debt again. The United States is selling off quite a bit of their debt, so that means we're going to be flooding the market with bonds, and that will dilute the price, and yields will come up from that, and higher yields means higher rates.
Okay, okay. Well, this is what was interesting that I did some research the other day, and I was amazed. I'm going to go back to 1971 when interest rates were 7.33%. Now, that's 1971. Most of you weren't born then. If you had waited until interest rates went down to purchase, you would have waited 22 years. Meanwhile, the house prices went up 4 times as much. And the reason I bring that up is I know that we're in a volatile state right now, but a significant drop is really not in the picture for us.
No,
And my point being that it's much better if to get your goals together and purchase while we know where the prices are. We know what the future is going to be. We think we know, and that is they're going to start going back up again. Interest rates, they're not going to go down very much. if at all, really. And
Yeah.
so my whole emphasis for you is to do what you can do to get out of your rental situation and purchase a home for lots of reasons: safety, wealth building, do what you want to do to your own place. You don't have to listen to somebody else, this type of thing. So I really emphasize trying to get your goals together for this next year to try to purchase a home. Obviously, we're even though we talked about October just now, we're going into the holiday season, and probably there won't be as much activity going on immediately. But I guarantee you, as I have experienced in the last 19 years at working with real estate, is as soon as January 2nd comes around, the phone starts ringing off the hook because people have set their goals and they're back focused on home purchasing or home selling. So with that, Tim, do you feel like that's good advice for the normal person that's trying to eliminate the 22% interest rates and credit cards and get back to reality?
Well, certainly, home prices continue to. I mean, nationwide, they're going up. They dropped down just a little bit, the nation average, but
negligible.
Now they're going back up again. As rates come down, and they'll come down somewhat, like you said, they're not going to come down a lot, and it's going to be slow, because the Fed chairman said he's going to keep the monetary policy where it is, higher for longer. That's what he said. So we can take him at his word. In the next year, I expect rates maybe getting into the high sixes.
Okay, well, that's an improvement.
But what I'm trying to tell people that are interested in buying a house, do it now, because the competition is a little bit less now with rates a little bit higher, right? So demand has dropped somewhat. So if rates come down to, if we get down into like 6 again, let's say, that's going to put a lot of pressure on our low inventory and cause prices to go up again. So yeah, buy now.
Right. And of course, and as we've talked in the past, we're really just barely above the 30-year average of mortgages anyway. This is normal, even though the last 4 years we've had free money for a long time at 3%, et cetera. So
absolutely.
So, but let's pretend for a moment before we leave. Let's pretend that we actually really got a reduction in interest rates and all of that. And what could a person do that bought, say, in January and the rates were at 7.25%, and all of a sudden it went down to, say, 6.5%, if it ever was to go back down that? What could a homeowner do?
Yeah, and the strategy has been, I know you've heard about buy downs, temporary buy downs and permanent buy downs. So we've set people up for that. So they're getting into interest rates that are higher than normal. They'll be able to refinance as soon as the rates drop to a favorable.
And that's what I wanted to make sure that people understood, that the house price, once you purchase a house, it stays the same. That cost does not go up except for the 3% per year with property tax. So it stays the same. Interest rates, if it drops down, just simply refinance.
Yes.
It's that simple. So, but if you wait and wait and wait, the house prices are going to be far more expensive than the little bit of interest rate fluctuation.
That's exactly right. It affects buying power.
So at this point in time, even though it's not quite Thanksgiving yet, we certainly wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays. But we'll be back again in mid-December to talk about November's changes. All right.